Hard to Explain was part of the recordings at a transporter arm on 2A where we did Is This It? And basically it's just all a vague ball of confusion from that session of just playing your part and then going to 2A and then coming back and finishing and listening. And so yeah, that's basically the vibe in the studio at the time was a lot of alcohol and just focus, which sounds like it's impossible, but it was at the time. And yeah, that's how Hard to Explain came about.
Okay, well, Juicebox was a song that Julian Casablancas wrote. The funny thing about that is that we had to clear it with a bunch of people because it reminded too many people of Spy Hunter. I thought that was funny. I still think it's a pretty good song, regardless of its similarities to a video game.
New York City Cops, I remember we needed, I think, a full album, 11 songs, so I remember it was an intense session in the studio of just kind of getting it done as good as possible, but also as quick as possible, on 38th Street where we have our rehearsal space. The actual vinyl of the album was released on September 11th, on a Tuesday, and so we had a CD coming out 2 weeks later, I think, and we had to take off that track. We didn't have to, we chose to, because it just, at the time that it happened, it just was too kind of sensitive, and I don't know, it just seemed wrong to do that, because of the lyrics, of course, and so after that as well, we had those 2 weeks to record another song, which was When It Started, and we switched that on the US version for New York City Cops.
Heart in a Cage, let's talk about this for a second. One of my personal favorite Strokes songs. I think it's pretty and aggressive at the same time, and it was a lot of fun to record. And the video for Heart in a Cage was a lot of fun to make, because we got to go downtown and just play in front of a bunch of strangers. And that was, it's all kind of one package to me, I think of the video and the recording. I'm kind of slow, so I have to save space inside my brain.
I do remember we had an alternate take, which I think is on a single, where Julian sings about Albert. If you can, the geeks can go digging that up somewhere in the archives.
Someday. Oh, I have a great story about this. I was staying over at Julian's house one night after, I should say, after a night of debauchery, me personally. I had a crazy headache when I woke up, but I woke up to him singing in the bathroom and coming up with, kind of developing the melody for it, and I always thought that was really awesome. I think it's a very pretty melody.
Take it or leave it. I mean, all these songs were, we did them so many times live that they kept changing every time we got back into the studio. Before actually recording them, we would rehearse them, and for the next live show, and they would change again and keep changing until we finally got a version that we liked. Take it or leave it. We actually did it also before recording with Gordon. We recorded with Gil Norton in some sessions that never worked out. But he actually, I think, helped us. He cut out a part, and it was kind of like, oh wow, that works better. And so just along the way, every song took so many different mutations that the final product ended up on Is This It?
what is there to be said of Reptilia? I don't know, I feel like, well, that was my favorite song off of, what was the name of the second record? Room on Fire. That was my favorite song. I like to play that song live. I think it was a mistake for us not to have that as the first single, but that's just me.
1251 was Nick was messing around with the tone on his guitar. 1251, he had this tone that his tone was all the way down, like low, so we had to really put the volume all the way up. And I think while we recorded that, we blew about an amp every couple of hours, trying to get that kind of keyboard synthesizer sound on the guitar. And that's all I remember of that.
The Modern Age. That was the song that I kind of... This was a very particular answer. But I think that was the first song where Julian and Nick and Albert and Nicolai all kind of looked back at me and said, if you're going to be a drummer, you might as well hit hard. And I was just like tapping away, tap, 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 tap. And they're like, make this count for Christ's sake. And I learned how to try to hit hard, at least, if anything.